Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Governor Nikki Haley, Senator John McCain, and the next President of the United States, Governor Mitt Romney.
In South Carolina. But let's really show our guests what a really great day it is. Let them hear how great South Carolina is happy to have Governor Romney and Senator McCain. Thank you for such an awesome turnout. We appreciate it. And I will tell you, we were in Charleston yesterday, and we've come here today, and this is what I want you to know. You know I'm a conservative governor. And the hardest part that I have had in my job this past year is the federal government. I spend as much time dealing with the federal government as I do with the legislature. And we all know that the focus needs to be on jobs, spending, the economy. Those are the issues that we care about. And so when it was time to decide who it was we were going to endorse for president, what I cared about is who is going to be the person that understands that when we are trying to fight to keep jobs with Boeing, we don't need an NLRB trying to go and fight and take away the jobs from Boeing. Governor Romney has said he's going to fight to protect our jobs, and he will be a friend in the White House, which is what we need to see. The second thing is, I told him, I said, we can't afford Obamacare. We don't want any sort of mandatory health care. He said, it's okay. He said, because I'm going to give every state a waiver that wants it, and we are going to repeal Obamacare in the United States. I said, Governor Romney, I just went and we pushed through illegal immigration reform that is so needed in South Carolina, and the Department of Justice fought it, and he said, I will stay with you and allow your states to put through the laws that need to happen. And then the one that we've dealt with just now, I said, if you judge me on my court cases, and you judge all the people that have sued me. The unions have sued me, and the ACLU has sued me. And last week, Jesse Jackson started talking smack to me. If you look at all of that, what they are talking about is the fact that if you need to show a picture ID to buy Sudafed, if you need to show a picture ID to get on a plane, why can't we show picture ID to do the one thing we treasure, which is our right to vote? I love you too. Governor Romney supports that. He's going to be a partner for me in the White House. That's what I need. He's going to know that jobs matter. He's going to know the economy matters, and he's going to know that spending matters. That's why Michael and I support him. That's why I know he's right as the president of our state. So I will tell you, or as the president of our country. So this is what I will tell you. It is a great day in South Carolina. But it will be a great day in the country when we can say Governor Romney is now President Romney. So welcome, President Romney.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you for this welcome. What is this, the peanut warehouse, huh? Oh, this is beautiful. This is great. What an honor to be here with you this morning, and to bring friends with me and to be welcomed by the governor and two other beautiful women. The one next to the senator, as you know, is Senator McCain's wife, Cindy McCain. Please welcome Cindy McCain. The one in the white jacket here, who wisely thought about bringing a coat this morning. I saw her in elementary school. She was in second grade when I was in fourth grade. I don't think I paid a lot of attention at that point, but when she was just about 16, I paid attention. And I went to a party at Stu White's house, saw her. She'd come with someone else. And I went to that guy and I said, I live closer to her than you do. can I give her a ride home for you? And he said, okay. We've been going steady ever since. My wife, 42 years. My wife, Ann. Now, it was an unusual thing we did about 4 years ago. As a nation, we elected a person we didn't know very well to be president. He spoke eloquently with a grand vision and made a lot of promises. We wondered what would happen if we elected a president who had no experience, who'd never worked in the private sector, never led anything, didn't lead in the state legislature, didn't lead in the U.S. Senate. What would happen if we elect someone without experience to the White House? Now we know. And it's not a pretty picture. And he's failed us. He's failed on national security, to secure the interests of America relative to the threat that comes from a nuclear ambitioned Iran. Yesterday, he announced a major program to reduce the capacity of our military. Inexcusable and unthinkable, and it must be reversed. We have to protect our military. He failed to put Americans back to work. Remember, he was early in his administration. He said, look, if you'll let me borrow $787 billion, why we'll be able to keep unemployment from going above 8%. Well, it went past 8% and hasn't been back since, 3 years later. And then, of course, don't forget, this is not just a statistic, this 8% number, or the 25 million people who are out of work or who stopped looking for work, or can only get part-time jobs and need full-time work. These are real people, real families that wonder if they can put a meal on the table by the end of the week. These are people who, if you've been unemployed for a long period of time, you know that folks sometimes lose their marriages, they lose their faith, they become depressed. It's serious. This president's failed the American people. And then, of course, there's his failure with regards to the government and the scale of government. He has been racking up deficits over $1 trillion a year. He was critical of President Bush for putting in place deficits over $400 billion. He's been doing 3 times that. And he's on track by the end of his first term, his only term, he's on track to amass as much public debt almost as all the prior presidents combined. It's just inexcusable. And you know, he went on the Today Show right after he was inaugurated. And he said, if I can't turn this economy around in 3 years, I'll be looking at a one-term proposition. And we're here to collect. We're here to collect. We're taking it back. There's also something else which you understand very well. You understand that good jobs come not from government, but from a private sector, small business, big business, entrepreneurs, innovators, investing, creating jobs. You understand that. And this president, I don't think, understands how the economy works. I think he subscribes to something I call crony capitalism, which is a belief not in free markets and free people pursuing their dreams, but instead of a government that pays back favors to the people that took care of them. A government that says, for instance, organized labor at the governmental level, the SEIU and others really helped my election campaign, says President Obama, so we've added 135,000 federal jobs under his administration. And then, of course, we got a lot of help from the AFL-CIO, so let's stack the National Labor Relations Board with union stooges to make sure that they'll give states that are right to work a short end of the straw and stop people from being able to build factories like Boeing tried to do for Boeing. That is wrong. We got to stop it. We got to turn that around. And then, of course, there's giving money to people that as president you think have a better shot of managing a future than the free market would suggest. So we're going to give money to companies like Tesla and Fisker. These are, by the way, they make electric cars. We badly need more car companies, obviously. And we're going to give each $500 million. Oh, by the way, they have a bunch of Democrat fundraisers in those little companies. Oh, and then there's Solyndra, another special deal. We'll put, $500 million in that. Let me tell you, by the way, how the free market works and compare that with this crony capitalism. I spent my early career, 25 years, you call that early. I spent 25 years in the private sector, and I participated in something known as venture capital. We helped started various businesses. Probably the largest employer we started was Staples. It employs 90,000 people today. That office supply, you work there, office supply superstore. Good. And when we got it going, when we got it going, we got all the money together to open the first store, and we put in $5 million about. And we're going to see how does that work, and if it worked well, we'd put in more and get it started. So $5 million. Do you know how much the government put in Solyndra to get it started? $500 million. All right. Our office, our headquarters office was in the back of an old shopping mall. All right. We had naugahyde seats we sat in. You had to be able to exercise to get out of one of these things. They were so old. That was different at Solyndra. Big glass building, the Taj Mahal out there. This is how government takes care of their friends. This kind of crony capitalism kills jobs, and it kills innovation. See, the president says, oh, he wants to get solar energy going, and so he puts $500 million into Solyndra. But he doesn't understand. That kills innovation. You think, well, why is that? Let me tell you why. Because across this country, I'll bet there were 100 different little businesses starting up to find new ways to provide solar energy with different ideas. When he picks one and says, we're putting $500 million in that one, guess what happens to all the others? They can't get funders. They can't get investors. They can't get venture capitalists. They can't get their mom to invest in their business because the government's chosen their favorite. And so as a result of what he did, he not only wasted government money, he made it more difficult for entrepreneurs and innovators to come up with the new ideas of the future. This president doesn't understand how this economy works. It's time to get a president who does. This election is about the soul of America, folks. We either believe in free enterprise and freedom and people pursuing their dreams and opportunity, or we believe in a European-style welfare state. That's where he's taking us. I will not let us go there. I will restore the principles that made America, America, freedom and opportunity. Now, I have a number of favorite American hymns, if you will, patriotic hymns. One of my favorites is America the Beautiful. And what are the, you know the verses, oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain. I joked with my friends in Iowa that I counted corn as an amber wave of grain. I think that helped me get those big 8 votes that I won by, you know, so. But there are other verses I love. The verse, oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years. I happen to believe that the vision of the founders, the patriots, was not just a temporary vision, but what they saw and what they crafted in our Declaration of Independence and in the Constitution is enduring. I love the Constitution. It's the blueprint for what my administration will do. And then, there's another verse that the one that touches my heart most deeply. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. Will the veterans in the room please raise your hands? Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you for your service. I want to introduce one of those heroes proved in liberating strife, a man who continues to prove that he loves his country more than life, our friend, Senator John McCain.
Thank you, Mitt. Thank all of you for being here this morning. On behalf of the next President of the United States of America, Mitt Romney, thank you all for being here. And by the way, it's great to see our great Governor Nikki Haley here. Governor, thank you. And since I'm with him, I have to tell my standard joke about the 2 inmates in this chow line in the state prison. And one turned to the other and said, the food was a lot better in here when you were governor. And so, look, Mitt told me there's some states you can't tell that joke in. Can we also again, a round of congratulations to landslide Mitt in Iowa. That was a great victory. That was, and could I mention seriously, 2 to 3 weeks ago, no one predicted that Mitt would carry the state of Iowa in those caucuses. And we got some wind at our backs now, my friends, and I'd like to give you a little straight talk. he's gonna do well in New Hampshire. Not as well as the poll. It's gonna close up some, and but he's gonna win in New Hampshire, and it's gonna come down, my friends, as it always does, to South Carolina. It's gonna come down. It's gonna come down to South Carolina, and it's gonna be the same thing. Whoever gets out their vote is going to win, and we're not taking a single vote for granted. I'm asking you right now to spend a little time calling your friends, making sure that you know where the voting booth is. Make sure that we're all well organized. Take a few minutes and call people. If you really can, there's going to be headquarters here in Myrtle Beach. Come down and help out. This can be a very, very close South Carolina election. If Mitt Romney wins here, he will be the next president of the United States. So South Carolina, it's up to you. It's up to you. And thank you for coming out this morning. I know that everybody here had something else to do this morning. I'm grateful that you are here. And, you know... Well, I often tell my veteran friends, you know, it doesn't take a lot of talent to get shot down. I was able to intercept a surface-to-air missile with my own airplane, which is no mean feat, as you know. I also want to mention again that I know how much we are all football fans. I think you can be proud of the University of South Carolina, and I think, despite a tough defeat, the season that Clemson had, you can be proud of as well. So I want to. So, and by the way, I'm sorry that my friend Lindsey Graham isn't here today, but I also want to tell you that you have two great senators in Jim DeMint and Lindsey Graham, and I know you're proud of them. Lindsey Graham and Jim DeMint have joined with me time after time to go to the floor of the Senate to fight against the earmark pork barrel corruption that goes on in Washington, D.C. Earmarks are a gateway to corruption, and I can tell you that neither Mitt Romney nor Rick Santorum share that view. When Newt Gingrich was Speaker of the House, earmarks exploded. When Rick Santorum sponsored earmark after earmark, I went down to the floor and fought against those. My friends, earmarks are gateway to corruption. Members of Congress went to jail, and I guarantee you this president will fight against it time after time after time, and we'll stop the waste. And by the way, one of the things we need to give President Romney is a line-item veto to get rid of all these pork barrel spending. Now, I'd just like to talk to you for a minute about, I know that the issue that is going to dominate this campaign is jobs and the economy. God knows, nobody knows it better than the people in this room. 9.9% unemployment in this state. It's terrible. You've gone through some of the toughest times in history of this state, and I understand that. And I believe that the president's policies are directly responsible for that. And as Mitt just mentioned, remember if we passed the stimulus package, which, by the way, was over $1 trillion when you count interest. Remember it was going to create all these jobs. Remember unemployment was not going to go above 8% and down. Well, do you remember also all this other, in the first 2 years when the Democrats were in the control of both House and Senate? Do you remember the Dodd-Frank bill that no organization would ever be too big to fail? Really? Do you remember, of course, Obamacare, which was supposed to bend the curve on health care costs down? Remember that? Obviously, one of our first priorities under President Romney is to repeal and replace Obamacare. And that has got to be our first priority. And we can replace it. We can replace it with a way to bring health care costs down and provide a minimum health care for every single citizen in this country. But it's not through Obamacare. And by the way, the vote trading that went on, the Cornhusker kickback, the stuff that went on while we were doing that bill was the most as unsavory as I've ever seen it, which by the way contributes to the approval rating of Congress, 9%. 9%, you know. We're down to paid staff and blood relatives, you know. I landed at the airport in Sky Harbor the other day. A guy ran up to me and said, "Hey," he said, "anybody ever tell you you look a lot like Senator John McCain?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, doesn't sometimes it just make you mad as hell?" So. President Romney will lead Congress. President Romney will exercise his veto pen on these pork barrel and earmark spending. President Romney will put us on the path to fiscal sanity again. We borrow too much, we tax too much, and we spend too much. We need a disciplinarian in the White House for both parties, to be honest with you. And Mitt Romney will do that. Could I just finally say a brief word about the patriotism of this state? I've had the great honor, as Mitt has, to travel all over the state of South Carolina. There is not a more patriotic state in America. There is not a state that has more men and women serving in the military on a percentage basis than the great state of South Carolina. The South Carolina National Guard, every time I go to Afghanistan, every time I go to Iraq, what do I see? That Palmetto flag on, and the South Carolina National Guard. They have done a fantastic job. And we need to make sure that they can do their job. This president does not understand national security. This president does not understand the challenges that we face. This president wants a terrorist caught in the United States to be read their Miranda rights. This president is about to dismantle our defense capabilities. This president is not respected throughout the world. I can tell you that because I talk to these world leaders. They believe that America is in decline, and they believe that America was withdrawing. We had another period. Some of us may remember, old geezers around here, we had a president named Jimmy Carter. We were going through the same thing. I assure you that this President Romney understands our national security challenges. He will rebuild the morale of our military, and he will restore America. And I guarantee you, he will not lead from behind like Ronald Reagan. He will lead from in front. I forgot to mention something at the beginning. A lot of the media and people saying, well, you know, weren't you all bitter from fighting in the 2008 primary? Yes, we fought hard in the 2008 primaries. But I'd also like to remind you that as soon as that was over, we got together. No one worked harder for my campaign. No one worked harder for my campaign than one Governor Mitt Romney. And I'll always be grateful for that. But most importantly, we share the values, we share the priorities, we share the same fundamental philosophy, and I believe that this is a crucial time in America's history, a very crucial time. And I can't think of a more crucial time. And we need this kind of leadership, this kind of decent, honest understanding of the free enterprise system, a man who has worked hard all his life, not only to help himself and his family, but to help others. South Carolina, it's up to you again, my dear friends. It's up to you. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Senator. What an honor to be here with these guys. I want your governor to have the last word. Governor?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And so this is what we know. We know that I'm going to ask you to do for Governor Romney what you did for me. I came in with no name ID and no money. Very different this time. We got a great organized structure for Governor Romney in South Carolina. But I told you, if you like what I have to say, go tell 10 people. And you did that. And we changed this state, and we won that election because you took the time to go email your list. You took the time to tell your friends. You took the time to take a bumper sticker and a yard sign. You did everything that I needed you to do. So when you're talking with your friends and they are now making their decision, I want you to remind them of something. This is a man who took broken companies and fixed them. We need Washington fixed. This is a man who took a failing Olympics and made it a source of pride for our country. That's what we need for our failing economy right now. This is a man who took a liberal state like Massachusetts and went in as governor, cut taxes 19 times, balanced the budget with an 85% Democrat legislature. That's what we need in Washington. All of these things that he has done have proven he hasn't just taken a vote, he's made decisions. We need someone that's made decisions. We need someone that has the courage and the backbone to do it. We know Governor Romney is the person that should be the next president of the United States. Let's get to work, South Carolina. We know how to do this. We've done it before. Let's do it again. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Nicely done. Thank you. Thank you.